So, without further ado, we'll get on to the presentations. We have 5 presentations today, starting with Andrew Downie. So Andrew is a psychologist by training and inclination, which always freaks me out a bit. I think, what's he thinking when I'm talking to him? For over 25 years, he's had a keen interest in... Andrew, do not... How about you grab my arm? We'll take you over, and there, so you don't you don't trip on something. So I'm not totally distracted. Yeah, I'll leave you here for a sec. I'll do the rest of the intro, and then we'll get you set up. So he is a keen participant in the areas of standards and accessibility, and his presentation today comes from some ongoing frustration with code and has drawn him down the path of sort of writing his own code and trying to make things more accessible. He says you won't find him on any sort of social media, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, so don't look for him there, just catch him at the event. And it will distract him from what he actually does, which is, you know, tinkering, basically. I remember I was on the phone to Andrew one day and he says to me, "Oh, yes, I've got JAWS the screen reader chattering in one ear and VoiceOver in the other," and he was also holding a completely intelligible conversation with me at the same time. We just got to swap over the computers so he can use his own text, so we'll just be a sec and then Andrew will get started.
Now, can you just watch my screen?
Yep, I'm here.
NVDA menu. General settings. Synthesizer output device speakers left for Realtek high.
Not quite.
Nope. It was Realtek, I think. Realtek high definition, your USB audio codec.
They're laughing.
All good?
Yep.
Okay. You can start when you're ready.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to talk about some frustrations I have with ARIA. This is for the geeks, by the way. Everyone else, I'll wake you up when we finish. So, what is ARIA? Accessible Rich Internet Applications. It aims to improve access to web pages for adaptive technology. There are 3 related attributes: states, roles, and properties. ARIA benefits, and I want to stress at this point that although I'll be showing you some bad examples of ARIA and what can go wrong when it's not used well, when used appropriately, it is a very, very powerful and useful tool. So don't get the idea that I'm trying to say that ARIA isn't a good thing. It is. So one of the things that ARIA can do is to let a screen reader user know when something on the page has changed. And it can aid access to complex environments. The first rule of ARIA, do not use ARIA. The rest of the statement says, do not use ARIA if a native HTML element is available and works correctly. So what's the problem? ARIA is often overused and or misused. Last year, I read a really nice article done by the WebAIM people, and I thought, yes, that vindicates all the grumbles I've been having. I'm going to let you listen to and watch the opening several sentences of that article.
When WebAIM evaluates a client's website for accessibility, we often spend more time evaluating and reporting on ARIA use than any other issue. Almost every report we write includes a section cautioning against ARIA abuse and outlining ARIA uses that need to be corrected or, most often, removed. Ironically, this is often followed by a list of issues that can only be addressed with ARIA. Like many adults who were teenagers in the 90s, I can think of a Simpsons quote to fit just about any situation. In one popular episode, Homer holds up a mug of beer and proposes a toast to alcohol, the cause of, and solution to, all of life's problems. With just a bit of tweaking, this quote represents my feelings about ARIA. To ARIA, the cause of, and solution to, all our accessibility problems.
Now, I'm not sure what's going to happen just now. Just bear with me. I don't know why the screen reader went through to where it did. It shouldn't have done that.
Here if you need
what have we done here?
You're back to Realtek High Def. You need to go back to USB audio. Yep.
That's it?
Yep.
Are there? No, I'm not.
Okay.
Don't bother. What are we on now?
USB audio codec.
Okay. Oh, all right. We might have to.
Bear with me. I'm not sure whether Steve's. Steve, when you switched things, did that affect Andrew's output?
No, I thought it shouldn't have, but for some reason everything's gone the wrong way. Don't bother.
USB audio codec.
Yeah, that's what it should be. Hang on. It should be right. Now it's Realtek, is it?
No, it's still USB audio. You're on synthesizer, so Microsoft Vocalizer. You want Vocalizer?
Oh, that's not bad. Sorry, folks, just bear with us. Yeah.
Synthesizer is eSpeak NG, and the output is USB audio codec.
Right, when all else fails.
Plug on through plug.
Looks like I might have to ad-lib the rest of it. I don't know where it's gone.
No, I don't think we've touched anything. Is that any better?
No, we seem to have lost all out, unless the levels drop, which is possible.
Do you want to check the settings once more?
Yeah. It's coming through somewhere else. What are we on there?
USB audio codec.
What are we on there?
Intel display order. Creston, Microsoft Sound Mapper. Creston Intel display. Microsoft Sound Mapper.
We seem to
Have you lost your USB completely?
seem to have. Just pull the. Oh, I was going to pull this one out.
Oh, yeah. Should I put the USB back in?
Yeah. Well, we've got something.
Caps lock off. Caps lock on. NVDA menu. General settings. Top. Synthesizer dialog. Synthesizer colon. Combo output device colon. Combo box left on left colon. Intel. Speakers left colon. Realtek. Infinity.
Realtek.
Speakers left colon. USB audio colon. Right colon.
Got something working?
Can you hear it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. All good?
Yep. Okay, apologies, folks. What can go wrong will go wrong. Menu and menu item. Do I dare to show you this? I guess I do. One of the most misused ARIA attributes is, well, there's two of them associated, menu and menu item. It's intended for software menus navigated with arrow keys, but it's used very often on standard navigation. It adds verbosity there, nullifies screen readers' access to lists, and in fact, with some screen reader browser combinations, it can mess things up really badly. Oh, it's working. So you get the idea. It's saying menu item every time, which is completely unnecessary and unuseful. If I go to the top of the page and I try to go to the next list, there's no list. And that's because of this sticking that on there. It shouldn't be there, but lots of people do it. Role equals alert. This is another one that can be quite frustrating. There are three related attributes. ARIA live equals polite. ARIA live equals assertive, which, as the name suggests, is a bit more intrusive. And role equals alert. The alert role should really only be used if there's something really important, like you've missed out an important field, or there's something you really need to know about before you move on. I've come across on expanding and contracting menus, and it shouldn't be there. There's no need to have it saying alert every time the thing opens and closes. I've even come across it on occasions on empty divs, just in case, I suppose. The alert role. This is, I came across this one literally on a form, and I won't name the very major company who did this, but listen to what happens every time I type a character. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny too. Yeah. Now so there I've written an invalid email address, and when I tab out of it, so there's love you. So there are ways of checking correctly, to see if someone's put in a valid email address or not. And I'm sure I've run over time. Sorry, Sarah. Given
That's all right. I'm giving you 3 minutes grace.
All right, thank you. ARIA hidden. It's a very useful tool, but again, occasionally, just recently, I've come across a couple of situations where people, I'm sure they intended to make materials accessible to the screen reader, but because they didn't read the spec properly, they made it inaccessible to screen readers. It hides the element from screen readers, and as I say, there are times, particularly if, say, you're doing a modal dialogue or something where you want to hide the rest of the screen, that's completely appropriate. Let's have a look at him. So you see it's jumped over that second paragraph completely because I've got ARIA hidden equals true on that second paragraph. Read instructions before use. We all say it's a good idea, but no one does it. Oh, I do, sometimes. So be sure you know what the ARIA attribute does before you use it. Test with a screen reader. That's a really good idea because that'll tell you, if it's working the way you want. Especially if you're using automated tools, and I suspect most of you web developers are, check that it's injecting ARIA appropriately because very often it doesn't. And that's because the people who wrote the tool didn't read the spec, and so the problem gets perpetuated. ARIA 1.1 specification, it's available at
https://www.w3.org/tr/y-aria-1.1/.
And finally, last year I had the privilege of attending an introduction to ARIA workshop run by Russ Weekly at the AliCam conference. And Russ has kindly made that material from that workshop available at
https://github.com/russmaxdesign/aria-workshop.
And that's really, really useful stuff because there's lots of wonderful information and exercises and all sorts. Thank you very much.